Okay, so silence. So there actually is some wisdom in the saying, you need to be quiet. I know it feels so crazy to say it actually, like, you need to be quiet. um, there is actually some wisdom in saying that. It's just that for many of us, we did not hear those words conveyed from love and with the understanding of the wisdom behind that particular phrase, right? For a lot of us, we grew up hearing, you need to be quiet. And it was usually being said to us at a much louder volume than what I'm saying it now. And it also was being conveyed to us in the sense of you need to literally physically shut your mouth, not speak your truth, not speak from your heart, not say what's on your mind, just not talk right then and there. You need to be quiet. And it was more so kind of like somebody was triggered by you speaking, and then that's what was prompting them to tell you that you need to be quiet. And that is very much so not at all what I am speaking of. You need to be quiet is more so coming from the understanding that silence has a profound effect on your nervous system. When you sit in your own silence, you are creating the space for all of the thoughts, trauma, emotions, raw, unfiltered emotion from the traffic jam or the person who cut you off in traffic or from the raw emotion and thoughts that come up in your space, in your field, within your mind. All of those things that arise throughout the day when you are triggered by what your child does or says or what they don't do, when you're triggered by your child's teacher and what they've said, your child's report card, when you're triggered by your partner, your finances. We are either throughout the day processing those emotions fully as they arise, or we are suppressing or projecting them, thinking we're getting rid of them, but they don't go anywhere until we fully sit with it. It always keeps coming back. That's why you have those moments where you'll just be doing the dishes or something, and all of a sudden, a flood of thoughts and emotions will pop up in your field, in your mind, about something that happened 10 years ago. Why on earth are these thoughts and emotions popping up for 30 minutes at a time about something that happened 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago? And why does this keep on happening? It will stop when we sit with it all, feel it, look at it, and do not try to suppress it with drugs, alcohol, food, binge watching TV, or however else we tend to suppress emotions and thoughts when they feel a bit unbearable, right? Or projecting. Some of us aren't suppressing everything. Some of us instead are feeling those emotions and feeling all that stuff, and instead of sitting with it, we then project it by spewing it out onto others through screaming, blame, shame, focusing on other people's problems, focusing on other people's stuff, so that we don't have to sit with what we have going on within ourselves. So suppression or projection, right? So all of that distracts us from the one thing that will actually help us to heal and release all that stuff and create space for new, awesome things to fill its space. Love, compassion, peace, joy, causeless joy for no reason, okay? Not happiness because you got a new car, a new home, a new client, a new business, not happiness because your income just increased, not happiness because you got paid, not happiness because you met someone new, you got married, but the more that we hold space for raw emotion we feel throughout the day, the more that we create the time and space to just be silent and let our nervous system regulate, because it regulates in silence. That's why sleep is one of the reasons sleep is so powerful. For many people, that's the only time they let themselves relax throughout the day. Now, can you imagine what your day is going to be like when you are relaxing throughout the day while you are awake? And when sleep is no longer the only time you are silent and resting and relaxing? oh man, your productivity, your efficiency, your joy, your happiness, your spontaneity, all that stuff is going to skyrocket. Okay. Skyrocket. Not even joking. Okay. When you create the time and space to just be silent, that is what happens. Your nervous system is being given a lot of the benefits it receives in that moment when you are asleep. Silence resets your nervous system. Silence resets and it allows for a release of a lot of what we have a habit of projecting onto others or suppressing. Are you willing to face everything that arises within you? Especially with the understanding that that the degree to which you face it is proportionate to the degree that you will notice a reduction in projecting onto others or suppressing your emotions and feelings. Okay. It can feel easier said than done. Okay. Took me many years of practice to be where I'm at with sitting with whatever arises within me. And I'm still practicing. It's not a practice that I'll ever stop. It's something that I'm going to continue to be doing until my last breath. Sitting with feeling my emotions and being aware of them, being aware of the thoughts as they come and go. It's an ongoing practice and it's highly transformative. Your life will not be the same once you commit to a practice like that, because you will no longer be able to be used as much by emotion or negative thought forms. Okay. So you will naturally watch your life move in the direction of positivity in all levels to the degree that you are sitting with the emotions, the raw emotion, the thoughts, the negative thoughts, the positive thoughts that come and go. Now, so yes, you need to be quiet, but I say that with love and compassion and with an awareness of what the silence can do for us. Intentional silence, right? So many of us have been programmed to look for safe spaces outside of ourselves in food and stimulants and alcohol, and to depend on other people for that safe space, to depend on being around other people so that we can feel that safe space, that safe release. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. However, it makes us dependent on things outside of us to feel safe. But when you start to practice something that helps you to regulate your nervous system and helps you to release a lot of what is happening within you, triggering things, etc., raw emotion, when you start to practice creating that safe space within yourself, you no longer have to depend on other people for that safety. And you're more able to show up and give in a way that you've never given before. Give from your overflow. You are no longer looking to take from or to get anything from anyone. You will get a lot. You will receive a lot. That will continue and increase, but you won't be showing up with that as your intention. You'll have so much to give because your safe space will be yourself. Will be in your capacity to breathe, to release tension consciously, and to just sit for 30 seconds, a minute, 90 seconds in silence, and to really let all the stuff, just to really let anything that wants to come up within you, any wild and crazy thought and any emotion accompanied with it, to just let it flow, let it come up. And to just watch and to notice how much more free you feel after giving yourself a little session of silence in that way. You can keep your eyes open. You could do it while you're walking, while you're laying down on your back. It doesn't really matter. What matters is creating the time and space to be quiet, to be still. Not where you're focusing on beautiful music. That's great too, but you don't want to be dependent on beautiful music for this. You want to be at a place where you are able to really sit in your own silence. Now here's the kicker. You are not going to be able to enjoy intimacy with another, silence with another, just being with your child, just being with your partner, just being with a friend in silence, in compassion silence, just sitting with them, enjoying the moment. The degree that you will be able to enjoy just being with the people you love is directly proportionate to your ability to just sit in silence with yourself and be okay. And be okay. Okay. This is one of the, I'll say it now. This is the highest parenting hack. This parenting hack right here is no joke. Okay. It is no joke. And it can be one of the hardest ones to implement, even though it's extremely simple. Okay. Why? Because of how we've been programmed. We have been programmed and are continued to be programmed in this society to focus on everything outside of you: music, movies, sports, what Johnny down the street is doing, what Jenny at work did, what Joseph, these are just random names coming to me right now, but just what Joseph did 5 years ago, we've been programmed and conditioned to focus on everything, and it just stimulates us. It keeps us stimulated and it keeps us distracted. And all of the stuff that we would benefit from processing and feeling and releasing, we don't. And it gets projected onto other people unconsciously, meaning we don't want to, we don't intend to, but it's just inevitable. All that stuff doesn't go away. It stays there and it will be either suppressed so it can come back up again another time, or it will be projected into the relationships of those that you speak to and interact with. It's just inevitable. So the interesting thing is, no matter how many game plans, coaches, courses, therapists, no matter how much stuff we have going for us in the direction of transformation and personal growth, no matter how much of that stuff we have in our arsenal, no matter how much stuff like that we have in our arsenal, if we are not able to sit in our own silence, we're going to continue to loop the same patterns over and over and over and over and over again until we are willing to, or courageously using our free will, to get stronger in our capacity to sit with ourselves in silence until we are at a place where we are able to be okay in facing whatever arises within us. Facing what arises within you is equivalent to loving what arises within you. Okay? What you give your attention to, you are loving. Okay? That's why it's also important for you to be very intentional about who and what you give your attention to, because the harvest is inevitable. Whatever you give your attention and time to is going to bloom in some way, shape, or form, because that's how powerful you are. You give your attention, aka your love, your focus, to your relationship with your children, it is going to flourish. You give your attention, your love, your focus to budgeting, you are going to get super good at budgeting. Whatever it is, to a goal, to an intention, it is going to manifest in your life, for sure. So that's why you have to be very intentional about what you give your attention and time to. So we have been programmed and conditioned to look for safe spaces outside of us. And that actually leads to more separation than connection with ourselves and the ones that we love, because again, we are not focusing on creating that safe space of silence where we can sit and just practice being okay, and therefore release all the stuff that comes up within those silent sessions. Okay. So it's like when a lot of times you'll hear people complain about when I try to go to bed and then all of this stuff comes up in my mind. It's because you're giving yourself permission before you go to sleep to be silent. And you have not been, none of us, most of us have not been taught that instead of meddling with the thoughts and stuff that come up and identifying with it and seeing it as a huge deal, we are actually in a powerful position to just witness it, to just watch it all, like it's a movie, like a child with popcorn, to just watch the movie of all of the mumbo jumbo thoughts that come up in your mind, and to notice as you do that, that they go bye-bye. It's when we try to resist them, when we try to engage with them, that it's like more and more and more and more come. But when you just watch, when you just have the intention to allow it all to come to the surface in the silence that is there before you go to bed, you'll start to notice that you start to feel lighter and lighter as the days go by and you're practicing this. Why? Because you are no longer holding on to all of that stuff that's been inside for so long. Because you finally let the cork be popped and you're finally letting it all come up and come out. It's no longer festering within you anymore. And we don't have to wait till right before bed to do this. If we do this 2 or 3 times throughout the day, you're going to drastically reduce how often you project onto your family, your children. You're going to drastically reduce those long bouts of negative self-talk. All we have to do is set a timer for 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 90 seconds to just focus on our natural rhythm of our breath. That's one thing. That's one thing in and of itself. But then also to set a little timer, 30, 60, 90 seconds with the intention, I am just going to let whatever comes up, come up, and I'm not going to engage with it because, hey, we have 30,000 or more, however many thoughts that come a day. I'm just going to watch these bad boys come up like it's a movie, right? And then you set your timer. And you have that intention and you just let whatever flies fly, whatever comes up, thought about Disney, thought about Powerpuff Girls, thought about food. You just let it pop up and this is creating space. If you cannot create space for what's trying to come up within you to be released, do not expect yourself to be able to hold space for when your child is physically having a tantrum in front of you. Do not expect to have the ability to consciously and intentionally create a genuinely peaceful, serene, compassionate space for when your child is triggered and processing their emotions or having a meltdown because the iPad has to be turned off. Do not expect yourself to be able to sit with that, to be with that, to send love in that moment, if you are not first able to hold space for what comes up within yourself. This is why our ability, our willingness to sit with ourselves in silence, as I've stated a few times in this video, and to practice that, it is a skill set that can be mastered by anyone. If me, as someone who's been diagnosed with neurodivergent and ADHD, I'm telling you, it is a skill set that if it is practiced by anyone, it can be and will be mastered. But it has to be practiced. Silence resets your nervous system. Silence helps you to self-regulate. You can have 55 billion game plans that help you self-regulate, but if we are not able to sit in silence for 30 seconds or 60 seconds, if we are not able to face whatever comes up within us within that time frame, it will continue to feel difficult and to parent from our peace. Okay. I also invite you to forgive any caretakers, society, and yourself for moments that you just for really anything and everything. And I invite you right now to just, if you have anything on your heart to forgive anyone for, I invite you to do it. Not to excuse their behavior, but so that you can feel more light and more free moving forward today. Unforgiveness and unforgiveness and harboring any type of resentment and bitterness towards other people really only affects you. They might be enjoying ice cream somewhere in, you know, another country right now or state. You never know. And meanwhile, we're the ones here that are angry and unforgiving. It's really affecting your experience, your relationships, that unforgiveness. Give yourself permission to practice letting go over and over and over again and forgiving. Remembering that everybody is on their own unique journey and not everybody is or has learned to love themselves and give themselves permission to make peace a priority in their life yet, right? So I just want to forgive all the people that we could blame for why we are just now learning certain things that are very transformative in our life, right? Our mind can sometimes get very angry with those who came before us. It's like, why didn't you teach me this? Why didn't you show me this, right? Forgive, 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 and just really honor and recognize how you're the one with the torch now. You're the one with the tools. You're the one who's giving yourself permission to learn the things that are going to benefit you in your future. Okay. Also, so an intention and a game plan moving forward as a cycle breaker that you are, reestablish a connection with yourself at a deep level so that you can be your own safe space no matter what. Okay. So in this video, I've shared a few ways that you can do that. You can rewatch this video to hear that again if you need to. But reestablish a connection with yourself at a deep level so that you can be your own safe space. Okay. This will powerfully change your entire life. Entire life. Imagine not needing anybody. Imagine not needing anybody and being able to feel joy and peace no matter what. You don't need anybody, but you appreciate and are grateful for the people you have in your life. You appreciate and are extremely grateful for, and you love very much those who are in your life, but need in order to feel safe, need in order to feel peace and joy. No. What would that be like? What would that be like to not need anyone's approval to feel joy and to feel peace? That is what is unfolding for you. That is what is here for you. That is what is inevitable for you in this lifetime. So yes, this is really huge. If you're very new to the powerful impact silence has on your nervous system, and if you're very new to integrating that into your life, start small. 5 seconds or 10 seconds of just closing your eyes or keeping your eyes open, laying on your bed or sitting up, whatever feels good for you. Just 10 seconds of just having that intention. All right, I'm just going to sit here for 10 seconds and let whatever thoughts and stuff that wants to come up, crazy ones, fun ones, happy ones, truthful ones, fearful ones, scary ones, horrible ones, whatever wants to come up, I'm just going to look at it and hold and just allow it to come up and go bye-bye. Right? Same thing with emotions. There's freedom. There's freedom, tremendous freedom in being able to sit in silence and to be okay and to feel okay. The benefits to this could be a whole other 30-minute video in and of itself. But again, I would rather you experience the benefits of it than me speak about it. I'm sending you tons and tons of love. Keep going.